Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we have another video from Wrestlelamia. This one's called 10 WWE moments that were never supposed to happen. Now, if you have been a fan of wrestling for a long time, and especially if you've been, let's say, keeping up with some of the behind the scenes of, the actual industry, maybe not everything, but just a little bit, you'll know that there are times, excuse me, in this industry where on screen, some things that do happen that originally were never planned, which I know I'm pretty sure most of you already know this, but what happens in the ring is pretty much planned from the beginning. And unfortunately, even when you do plan things, anyone who knows this, when you plan something is going to happen that pretty much ruins your plan, or something that's going to happen something that you never expected, or something that you hoped wouldn't happen. And that does also happen in the WWE, even though they do plan things ahead of time. So let's just go ahead and watch this video. I'm not going to waste any more of your time, and just volume. There you go.
You could ask me anything. You could have asked me about AEW.
Hey, Sammy, hey, so listen.
Oh, okay, he brought up AEW. Okay, so this is from when I gotta be honest, this is from when I kind of stopped watching WWE, because I just got so bored. I got so sick of it. It was a company that was doing the exact same thing over and over again, and it just wasn't working. It's obvious it wasn't working. They were bleeding viewers, ratings were going down, and it's obviously just that Vince just wasn't listening to what his audience wanted. And then when, of course, I still remember when AEW first got announced, and I thought, wait a minute, okay. And the fact that it was being run by, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong on this, the fact that it's being run by Cody Reynolds, you may know him as Cody Rhodes from the WWE. I know his real name is Reynolds. His real last name is Reynolds. And the fact that it's being run by him, I thought, okay, this could be interesting. I didn't think that it was going to end up being something that would actually in some way compete with the WWE, because I thought those days were over. I thought the days of any wrestling company competing with the WWE was just never going to happen. I mean, yeah, you've got TNA, you have New Japan, you have Ring of Honor, but none of those can really compete with the WWE. I mean, the WWE is so goddamn big, it's almost not even funny. So just to hear him name drop AEW in a WWE ring in front of an audience, oof. Like, yeah, this guy's reaction is pretty much all of us. This is this reaction. Ooh, he actually said it.
Some of the most iconic and entertaining moments in WWE history have occurred completely by accident. Now, we all know that the WWE is reliant and sometimes, well, too reliant on a script. And this means that everything performers...
This is, by the way, I know I keep pausing, but I do apologize. But this, I would say, is one of WWE's biggest problems. The fact that they are way too over-reliant on a script, especially when it comes to the promos. And this is what used to be one of my biggest problems, that the promos were so scripted to the point where it didn't feel like it was an actual person talking. You know how, like, when you're sitting down and you're talking to someone, it just feels like a natural conversation. But whenever you would hear these wrestlers talk, it didn't feel like it's coming from the actual person speaking. It feels like, this person's obviously reading from a script. And that's honestly one of... and I think we talked about this in a previous Wrestlelamia video, where they talked about some of the reasons why people are leaving the WWE. And I think scripted promos are one of them.
do and say is virtually micromanaged by a piece of paper. However, sometimes things have to be changed on the spot, and sometimes this can create pure magic. But which moments were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 WWE moments which were never supposed to happen. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists.
And also do it for them, of course. Go subscribe, follow them.
Just like I don't need my notes for my promo on my wrist. Nice tattoo.
Number 10, Ken Shamrock calls The Undertaker Mark. The Undertaker has always been extremely protective over his character. Anything that blurred the lines between The Undertaker and the man behind the character Mark Calaway were always few and far between. However, in 1999, kayfabe was completely shattered, as shortly after WrestleMania 15, Ken Shamrock came down to the ring on Raw to address The Undertaker. The two were set to meet at 1999's Backlash pay-per-view, and Shamrock would cut a promo inviting the Phenom to the ring, and to finish the promo, Shamrock declared,
"Oh, and there's one more thing, Mark. It's about time you got brought down to reality."
This marked one of the rare occasions where The Undertaker had actually been called by his real name on television. Now, the majority of these times happened around this time period, as their storyline involved Vince McMahon, and he was convinced that Mark Calaway was beginning to believe that the Undertaker character was real. Number 9, Emma accidentally wins. Before the first ever NXT TakeOver Brooklyn event went on air, WWE would tape a match featuring Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Emma, and Dana Brooke in a fatal 4-way match. The match went as planned for the most part, however when Emma hit Becky with the Emma Sandwich, Emma managed to secure the victory. This was not the planned finish to the match, which explains why every single person in it looked completely baffled. It's unclear why this actually happened, and it was put down to an accidental 3 count from the referee. It was reported that all 4 women were apparently really unhappy with the match finish when they got backstage. Number 8, Mike Tyson draped Stone Cold's t-shirt on HBK. The HBK vs Stone Cold Steve Austin showdown at WrestleMania 14 for the WWE Championship is most well known for being the true start of the Attitude Era, as Stone Cold officially became the top guy in the WWE. However, there are 2 backstage stories related to the match which are just as interesting as the match itself. The first one is rather well known, as it relates to The Undertaker reportedly taping his fist backstage to ensure that HBK did the favor for Austin and dropped the title. The second one relates to something that happened after the match. As after HBK was knocked out by Tyson, Tyson would drape a Stone Cold t-shirt over his face. Now, this was supposed to happen, however where HBK discovered the planned spot, he insisted it be removed, as he claimed it would be highly disrespectful. But regardless of HBK's opinion, they still went ahead with the spot. HBK was so angry that he tried to confront Tyson at the post-show press conference, but he would be stopped by Shane McMahon. No doubt it would have been interesting to see what HBK would have done if he was allowed into the press conference, and it would have been equally as interesting to see how Tyson would have reacted to HBK's outburst. Number 7, Hulk Hogan can't start The Undertaker's bike. The top feud heading into the 2002 Judgment Day pay-per-view was between Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker. The two would be feuding for the WWE title, and there was one infamous segment which fans remember from the feud. In a segment on Raw, Hogan was trying to play mind games with The Undertaker by stealing his motorbike and riding out of the arena. However, Hogan hilariously couldn't even start the bike. When Hogan actually got the bike going, he would stall it numerous times as the crowd laughed immensely.
The Undertaker's gonna walk down here. Hollywood Hogan. That's Undertaker's bike.
It was incredibly awkward to watch. According to Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon was going absolutely batshit backstage, as one of the main segments on the show was going completely wrong. Number 6, Hardcore Holly wins the Hardcore title by accident. A WrestleMania.
Did they not check to see whether or not Hogan actually knew how to drive a bike? I mean, I feel like that's kind of important if one of your main spots is for him to drive a bike, and you don't even check, hey, I mean, can you at least show us you know how to ride this fucking thing? Or maybe Undertaker could have actually walked up to him and said, hey, how about I show you how to actually, drive this thing so you... I don't know, that just seems a little bit weird to me.
16 featured a hardcore battle royal featuring Crash Holly defending his title against a dozen different WWE superstars. The planned finish to the match was supposed to involve Crash leaving with the hardcore title, however due to a mistake, this didn't occur. Hardcore Holly was supposed to get a 2 count before the 15-minute time limit ran out, however there was an issue with the timing and Hardcore accidentally got a 3 count. As a result, Holly won the hardcore title.
That doesn't really help.
Dude, you can see
this was a title change which wasn't.
You saw it on the ref's face. Give it a sec. Wait.
This was a title change which wasn't initially in the WrestleMania script and had to be rectified the following night on Raw. Number 5, Brock Lesnar punches Braun Strowman in the.
Oh yeah. I remember hearing about this. I remember in this match, Braun Strowman got a little bit too into it, and he ended up accidentally kneeing Brock Lesnar in the face for real. Like it wasn't it was. If anyone knows how this is done, usually whenever they throw punches, like yeah, it kind of looks like they threw a punch, but you know they do it to where, like they stop right before they actually hit your face just to make it, you know, look real. But Braun Strowman, like I said, he was a little bit too into it. He got a little bit too into the actual match, and he ended up kneeing Brock Lesnar for real in the face. And then Brock Lesnar basically had to tell him to, dude, calm the fuck down. Okay, slow it down for a bit, okay? And he also ended up punching him for real.
The face for real. Well, the 2018 Royal Rumble pay-per-view featured Brock Lesnar defending his Universal Championship against Braun Strowman and Kane. Now, to be fair, the match was nothing special and acted nothing more than to the build-up of Lesnar ahead of his WrestleMania 34 showdown with Roman.
Okay, I know this has nothing to do with the video, but I will say this. I saw this match, and dude, it was so fucking boring. It was so goddamn boring. And also, I heard that Lesnar was actually supposed to lose the title. They were finally supposed to put the belt on Roman, but then Vince changed his mind. I can't remember if it was during the match or if it was right before the match. He said, "Hey, yo, yeah, we're changing it. Lesnar's keeping the title." And I remember Brock Lesnar was pissed. And it's understandable because there's a clip, I'm pretty sure you can find on YouTube, where it's right after the match. You see Brock Lesnar heading backstage, and he just threw the belt at Vince, and it was pretty fucking funny. Seriously, go find it if you don't believe me. It's pretty fucking hilarious. But yeah, the match itself was so goddamn boring. I remember watching it, and even the crowd was chanting like, "This is boring" or whatever, or they were chanting "boring, boring." You know the chants. You know it if you've heard it. But man, it was the crowd was just booing the match. It was awful. They just, and I personally, I think it has something to do with Brock Lesnar's shtick. I think it's something that kind of got a little bit old. You know, I mean, it was fine at first. You know, the insanely dominating fighter where he just destroys his opponent. Yeah, it was awesome at first, but honestly, people got kind of they got kind of tired of it. They got kind of tired of the whole unbeatable, wrestler. And the fact that no opponent can even remotely post a challenge to him, and it's just, I said pose a challenge to him. It got tired. People just wanted something different. It's just, and honestly, I don't think people would have been happy with Roman Reigns getting the title either, because that was back during when people were still booing Reigns. People also just, they didn't want Roman Reigns. They got tired of him. I know people are saying that, oh, he's better now. I've seen some of it. Honestly, it's not different. It's the same guy, except that now he's accepted the whole heel persona thing. It's just, I don't know. To me, there's nothing different. It's the same thing.
Reigns. However, there was one major talking point in the match, and it occurred when Braun decided to give Lesnar a stiff knee to the...
Right there. Let's go back just in case you didn't see it.
Occurred when Braun decided to give Lesnar a stiff knee to the face. Lesnar got up and punched Braun straight in the face and informed him to...
Knee to the jaw, but Brock good, and Brock got him back.
Braun would clearly learn his lesson, as he would never be this stiff with a former UFC champion ever again. Now, according to Braun, there were no issues between the two men once they got backstage, and they still appear to be on good terms to this very day. Number 4, Stone Cold eliminates himself from the 1996 Royal Rumble. Stone Cold Steve Austin would make his first ever appearance in the Royal Rumble match in 1996. At the time, he was portraying the Ringmaster character. However, a mistake in the match accidentally resulted in him being eliminated way before he was supposed to. According to Austin himself, he would be clotheslined out of the ring by Fatu, and he was supposed to land on the apron. However, due to the amount of baby oil on his body, he slipped and accidentally eliminated himself. Austin would reveal, "I was doing a spot with, I believe it was Fatu, I can't remember, one of the Samoans, and man, he had a lot of baby oil on. All the guys were oiled up, so the ropes were very slippery. I was going to do a deal where he does something to me and I was going to take a bump over the rope, hang on to the top rope, come back in the bottom. Well, zip boom, I lost my grip, fell out of my keister down by the guardrail, and I was thinking, oh man, I'm the new guy in the company. Trying to give me a little bit of a push here by letting me be the fourth to last guy in the damn squared circle with 3 other badass superstars, and I blew it. Really." Number 3, The Rock's sunglasses fall off. The Rock and Mankind had some of the best chemistry out of any pairing put together in the WWE Attitude Era. The two had some amazing segments.
These things do happen. Even though you plan things ahead of time, something just comes along and just completely causes your plans to fall apart. It sucks, but it happens.
Well,
Kinda. How do you feel?
It doesn't matter how I feel, Michael Cole.
One of the most memorable one occurred after SmackDown had gone off the air in 1999. The Rock would be cutting a promo to the crowd, and when he turned his head, his trademark sunglasses would hilariously fall off his face. The live crowd burst out laughing, and The Rock tried his hardest not to break character.
Yeah,
Mankind would then proceed to
You can see it on his face. He's trying his best not to laugh his ass off.
pick up The Rock's glasses and then hand them back to the Great One, with The Rock responding,
The Rock thanks you for that.
"It was truly one of the funniest unscripted moments of the Attitude Era." Number 2, Chris Jericho accidentally punches HBK's wife for real. In 2000,
Okay, yeah, I also remember this. See, the funny thing is, I remember seeing this. I remember seeing this pay-per-view, and at the time when it happened, I remember thinking, okay, this is okay. Well, I know. I see. It was a time when I kind of figured out that yeah, okay, some things in wrestling are scripted, because I was a kid and I also thought that what I'm seeing is kind of real, but then I grew up and I realized it wasn't. And I remember seeing this and I thought, okay, was this planned? Because I swear to God, it feels real. And then imagine when I found out that no, it really was real. No, he really punched her for real.
In 2008, one of the hottest feuds in WWE was the feud between Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels. The feud would reach its boiling point at SummerSlam, as at the pay-per-view, HBK would come down to the ring alongside his wife Rebecca. HBK would be about to announce his retirement due to injuries he suffered at the hands of Jericho. But Jericho...
okay, so this spot was planned, but what wasn't planned was for him to hit her for real.
fully hit Rebecca in the face, and as the trio got backstage, HBK would kick off at Jericho, but luckily Rebecca de-escalated the situation. Jericho would reveal that he felt incredibly bad for the incident and even sent flowers to Rebecca by way of an apology. And number 1, Goldberg bleeds from the head during an in-ring promo. Now, Goldberg's pre-match ritual traditionally features the former world champion headbutting the locker room door, which is quite an interesting pre-match ritual to say the least. On an episode of Raw in early 2017, Goldberg would come down to the ring to cut a promo promoting the upcoming Royal Rumble match. Well, this was when fans noticed that Goldberg was bleeding from the head. Now, it turns out that he headbutted the locker room door so hard that it made him bleed. Now, as WWE has a strict no-blood policy, this made Vince McMahon furious, but there didn't appear to be any substantial heat on Goldberg himself. Goldberg would take to Instagram following the incident to reveal that he was retiring the bizarre pre-match ritual, which was without a doubt a smart and sensible move on his behalf. But there you have it, folks. 10 moments that weren't actually supposed to happen.
Okay, so that's the video. So yeah, like I said, you can plan things as many times as you want, but something that's going to happen where it just causes your plans to just completely fall apart, or even if it doesn't cause your plans to fall apart, it's still going to, sort of mess with it a little bit. But anyway, yeah. So for example, like the Hulk Hogan not being able to start Undertaker's bike thing, they planned for the whole him riding it out and chasing the Undertaker, but they couldn't start it at all. That was pretty fucking funny. Anyway, so that's gonna be the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and also while you're here, if you if you want to show your support for the channel, please consider liking the video, sharing the video, subscribing if you haven't, especially subscribing, because at this point, I have passed the 500 subscriber mark, and I cannot thank you guys enough to everyone who did subscribe. But if you want to help me get to the 1,000 mark, please consider clicking on the subscribe button. I know from the analytics that most of you guys who watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you want to change that, just hit the subscribe button, and also consider leaving a like or a dislike, whatever, and leaving a comment to help this channel out with the algorithm. Anyway, I'm going to end this video right here, and always, as always, if you have a video you want me to watch, just let me know about it in the comment section down below. Remember to stay safe and take care of yourselves. Bye for now.